Hello, everybody. I apologize for the muted. We had the camera issue, and I was like, "Oh shit!" But hello, everybody, and welcome to Starlost Shanties, our Starlost Seas kind of post-show, after-show. I don't know what you would call it, but it's our first review session of Starlost Seas, and we will be doing a lot of talking about what's happened in the first 7 sessions.
Yes.
So, I guess without further ado, I will hand the power over to Miss Taylor, the lovely Tabby Tabaxi.
Taylor, before you do questions, do we want to do a recap of the first 7 sessions? Just a brief, so that everyone has an idea.
Yeah, just like a brief recap would be nice, because maybe people are watching who haven't seen any of them.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
Would be a smart idea.
I guess I should do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Cryo. I'm the DM of Starlost Seas, and for those of you who don't know, every single Monday, all these lovely people here all gather together to watch and play this very fun D&D game that we do. We record it all, and then we put it out it's noon. It's always noon, right, Noah?
Always
Noon EST.
Noon EST. So all you people on the West Coast can wake up nice and refreshed at 9 o'clock and watch us play D&D. And in this campaign, as you might have imagined from the name, most of it's set out of the ocean. We start the very first place we start off is the Stonekeeper Empire, which has just made a law outlawing magic and magical people. And everybody in the party gathers up on a boat together and they set sail. Very first episode, they bump into a holdmaster from the Empire who hands off his half-elf brother to them. And that's Archibald. Archibald's lovely. He stays around a lot. Their boat sinks after they piss off 2 sea serpents. They did great. Socks turns into a werewolf in the middle of that fight. Also great.
You should have just let it leave.
You should have just let it leave. It was leaving. Then they show up in a fantastic magical place called Inshasla that smells like fish and alcohol.
That is correct.
They get on another boat where they then set sail off on all sorts of high seas shenanigans. And in the most recent episode, they just had their first big boss fight and level up. They're all level 4. They fought a giant stone golem in the shape of a dragon.
Yeah.
Against one of Sox's old students.
That was pretty cool.
And I think that's a vague enough recap for the moment to keep people interested.
All right.
Then
I guess we could just get started.
Take it away with some questions.
Cool. Well, first of all, I want to say that I've been watching since the beginning, since it's first started premiering every week on YouTube, and I think it's hilarious. I love the campaign, and it's really fun to listen to, especially because it's on Monday. It means I can do all my boring Monday chores and be listening in my headset to a really fun campaign. So thank you for a really fun campaign, and Cryo, you're a very fun DM, and it's great. It's fun to listen to. I love it.
He's a fantastic DM.
Absolutely.
While she fixes that, yeah, no, Taylor's easily our biggest fan. She shows up every single Monday, hangs out in chat. She's fantastic, and she was nice enough to come on to host for us.
Yep.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm at work right now, and the work phone was ringing, so I just had to mute it while because I'm ignoring it right now.
Yeah.
Priorities.
I'm not here. My internet died at home, so I had to come to work to do this, and I'm glad it's ringing.
Thank you so much for going out of your way for that.
Absolutely. It's like my luck. The universe knew I had this one little happy thing planned on my little desk calendar, and I just decided to squash it. So, but I'm showing it who's boss. That's what I'm doing right now.
That's the way to do it.
All right, so let's just start with some questions. I will say that out of the entire campaign, one of my favorite characters is actually Kieran. Why? Because he's hilarious. It's because it's I can imagine this really cool, adventurer looking, he's an Asimir, right?
Asimir.
Really cool adventurer Asimir, but he's just so awkward with the other characters, and they all hate him. And it's the funniest image to me, and I just love it. So my question for that is, Kieran, what's up with that guy?
So I actually have the answer for that.
Yes.
Because I was talking to Az last night, so I can actually say and he answered that question, and so his response is, Kieran doesn't quite understand people and isn't fully aware of that fact. He grew up isolated in the middle of the waste, and for most of his life, he only really had his bird friend and the occasional voice in his head, so most of his conversations are one way. So he's never really had the pushback to realize he doesn't exactly know what he's doing. So that's why he's so awkward, I guess.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Fair.
It makes sense. I love that guy. Oh my gosh.
Kieran is
like
a
in
walking
episode 1.
enigma.
Kieran is fun. And Kieran
I think
was-
in episode 1, he came up to the party, which was just Twink and Socrates at the time in the tavern, and he's just like, comes up all confident. He just says like, so do you know about history? And then he stopped.
That's
And
it.
ever since then, everyone's just hated him. It's so funny.
For a character like Socks, who knew he had a high value bounty on him, even at the time, that was the most terrifying thing you could possibly say to him, is walk up and ask this really vague question.
I think
I can imagine, because that's like 100 textbook scrolls he could start talking about. Understood.
Yeah.
Socrates.
Oh no, you go.
Oh, for people watching, Socrates is this elf professor. He's a little shabby, he's a little scruffy, but he's a professor, so he knows a lot.
Yeah.
I want to say I think it's really funny. Oz was this was Oz's first time playing D&D, actually. He's been a forever DM prior to this. So this was his first character that he got to sit down and play. So it's really funny talking to him about it, because he's like, yeah, I had set out and I had all these plans and all these ideas in my head on what I wanted Kieran to be, and then it came time for me to talk, and I forgot that I had to talk because I'm a player.
Yeah, after the
Love
first
it.
session, I don't remember if he said this in like sort of the after portion right before we got started, or like right before we ended. He said, at one point I got lost and forgot I was playing. I was just watching, kind of just taking it all in, and then someone went, what's Kieran gonna do? And he went, oh, what is Kieran gonna do?
You can't remember that.
I mean, to be fair, it's real
Great.
easy to forget you're playing when you're listening to Cryo tell this amazing story. So
Oh,
it is
Aw.
real easy to forget you're playing.
Thank you.
It's true. Let's move on to the next question. This one's
Right.
more for Cryo.
Oh, okay.
Cryo, the DM. So I was wondering about Archibald. Archibald is an NPC who's integral to the story right now,
Mhm.
and he's described as like he's a young elf, like a younger brother of
Mhm.
another character. But I'm wondering, is he like a young elf? Like, is he a gawky, scrawny little 15-year-old looking elf, or is he like a 400-year-old young elf who just kind of
Okay.
looks like a normal adult?
No, so Archibald's fun actually, because he does look like a teenager. In elf years, he's we say this later on. We haven't said it yet by episode 7, but I think we say it by 9, and it's not like a secret or anything. He's 79 years old. He's actually 20 years older than his like older brother figure, Ashranon. He's 79, but in elf years, that's still not considered like an adult. So he's very awkward and uncomfortable, despite the fact that he is older than every party member except for Socks.
Does he look like an adult, or does he look like kind of a gawky teenager?
He
I
looks
have to
kind
get
of
this
he
image
looks like
right.
a really scrawny, like 18 or 19-year-old. Like he's
All right.
he's clearly approaching adulthood, but he looks kind of like a kid, which is why they all treat him like a kid.
Yeah.
Okay, good. This has been bothering me since the beginning.
Is it that I imagine him as Robert Pattinson from Twilight?
Is that a compliment?
I don't know. I think it describes it perfectly, though, right? Like this really old, young-looking dude.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. That's not what I was thinking about it. I was like,
Maybe so. And I think this segues really well into my next question. So Lotus is this very young, childlike character who's actually played by Nimwick. How do you say your name?
Nimwick. You can just call me
Nimwick.
Ray, though.
You nailed it.
Okay, Ray. So played by Ray, and she is adorable. And I just kind of imagine her like this little pigeon, like this little kid pigeon girl with a mask, and that's the image in my head. And I'm wondering, is she little like a kid, or is she like bigger? Because technically, she's like 300 years old.
Well, Eric Cochra's only lived for 30 years. So she's 2, almost. So
She's like a little kid.
Yeah, so if you were to translate it into human years, she'd be like 12 or so. So she's around 4'9" in height. But her wings are massive.
She's
So
rapidly
she's
approaching puberty, and we're all very, very scared.
We're all
is
God.
Yeah, Lotus
she
pretty badass. I remember one part where she like plucked a bullet out of the air.
Yes.
That was very, very
Yes,
startled.
that was so cool.
So for clarification, we are about 8 sessions ahead of what you guys see. And let me just say, Lotus has taken a lot. She has become something altogether different from the point that you guys see, and she is absolutely phenomenal.
I am excited. I can't wait to catch up to those. The weeks go by.
I will say this: Lotus was because the setting, sort of like the time period and the items that would be available and around, I didn't necessarily discuss a lot with everyone. So guns were something that as soon as the moment it was established that this world was prolifically like littered with guns, Ray was like, I have to catch a bullet. I have to catch a bullet. I want to convince someone to shoot me just so I can catch the bullet. And I'm like, okay.
And that's why she was like, Harbin, shoot me.
Oh my god. I love Lotus. She's so cute.
Oh, she's a joy. We
I
all
think
need that
the
character.
last episode, she started throwing around F-bombs because that's what kids do when they hear adults say F-bombs.
Oh god,
They
when
just
Lotus
start
first heard an F-bomb.
F-bomb.
Hey,
I don't
Twink.
know where she heard that. I don't know where she heard that from.
Where did she hear that from?
Oh wait, no, this way. I don't know where she heard that from.
These 2 adults swearing their asses off the entire time around this child. Okay, so yeah, for anyone wondering, in terms of proportional ages, Lotus is both significantly youngest in proper age, she is 2 years old, and significantly the youngest proportionally. Socks is nearing his 30s, if not already there. I don't know where Twink is proportionally. Yeah. And Dolus is just about in his late 20s by now. So proportionally, Lotus exists in a space that children should not exist in.
He's hitting puberty soon.
Yeah.
Oh god, no.
Is that part of
Angsty
it?
Lotus.
Angsty Lotus.
And
Angsty
you
Lotus.
know I'm gonna do
Ages.
angsty Lotus.
Oh no.
All right, I'm back. Sorry for the interruption there.
You're
And if
fine.
anybody, it's because I wasn't able to do this at home. I got to do this at the office, but that's okay. And I was going to say to anybody watching, you can watch the premieres of the Starlost Seas campaign on the GlitchedStreams YouTube channel. It premieres every single Monday. And definitely go subscribe there and check it out because it's a lot of fun to sit there and watch it live. And there's a little live stream chat. You can chat with people who are watching.
Yep. And if you guys prefer your episodes in an audio form, you can find it over at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public, Google Podcast. Like, name it and you can find it there. Just Starlost Seas.
Well, right on. That's right. I forgot about that. I like YouTube because I can sit there and chat.
And another thing, if you like TikTok, Noah puts these great compilations together of some clips from the sessions.
They're
Puts them on
so
TikTok.
funny.
You guys should definitely check them out.
so
They're
funny.
hilarious.
So
Is that
funny.
Streams TikTok?
Yeah.
GlitchedStreams.
Got it.
You can find it either way. All right.
Okay. Let's move on to another question.
Okay.
So this one is from me. It's about Captain Lorelei. So
Okay.
Lorelei is somebody that we met in the first episode in the inn. She was like the waitress or like the innkeeper. She's doing stuff in the inn. But then we meet Lorelei who's a ship captain later on after some weird stuff happened with Archibald, that gawky kid elf. And I was wondering, is this like a Nurse Joy situation where there's like multiple Lorelei's all over the place, and they're all like related? They're like cousins, sisters.
Oh my gosh.
So
maybe I should.
Can the players answer this first? Since we have a theory.
We should.
Yeah, everyone answer with your various theories. I'm excited.
That's our Lorelei. It's our Lorelei. She recognized us. She was very upset to see us again, especially a month later. That is our Lorelei. We go into it a little bit more in the future. But yeah, right at the beginning, she recognizes us, and she's not happy to see that Harmon showed up with a broken boat.
She loves Lotus, though.
Loves Lotus. She never met Lotus, but she recognized Twink and Socks, that's for sure.
To be fair, we also had a bunch of other running theories about what was going on.
Yeah.
One of them being a multiverse situation that I don't want to dive into because it makes my head hurt. But that was like one of the first things. Like, is this another timeline? Is this another Lorelei?
We don't know.
No. And the Nurse Joy thing now, I'm freaking out. I'm thinking there's a bunch of them now. I wasn't even thought I had.
I might be onto something here.
Maybe.
Oh my gosh.
Now,
if it's not true, it is now.
And you've talked about how Starlost is a sequel to an older campaign. What was the first campaign like, and is it going to connect in ways that we haven't seen yet to this current campaign?
So, for those of you who are early on and blah, blah, etc., Starlost is a sequel to a campaign I DM'd in high school. First campaign I ever DM'd. It was incredibly jailbroken. I read like 20 rules of D&D, and we only did 14 sessions, but we got all the way to level 20 because we just power scaled and jumped around in the story, because why not?
As
Like,
of now, we have
fun.
overtaken the number of sessions in the original campaign.
There have been more sessions of Starlost than there was of the original campaign that I DM'd, but no. So it's a sequel, and all of the things that they did in it happened in the universe of Starlost. So like there was a war, there was a this, there was a that. It all happened, and it will affect this campaign, and it has started affecting the campaign where we are now, not where you guys are watching though.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for you all to see. And as far as how it connects in ways you haven't seen yet, there's this great character that might be coming up in a few episodes that I'm super excited for you all to meet, who may or may not have been in the first campaign.
All right, I'm excited.
Quote.
And now, Starlost Seas is a homebrew campaign, right? So this is your own world that you've created, Cry.
Yes. God, yes.
Very
all
cool.
from the ground up. It's very tiring sometimes.
I can't even imagine DMing like your entire own world. I can't even.
The trick is anything I make up on the spot is canon now. So it's
Right.
Sometimes it's actually
Even
very
easier.
easy.
Nice. Now, is Rook dead? This is a viewer question.
Ooh.
Is Rook dead? Oh my god.
Oh, that's a
Come on,
name I
give us
haven't
a
heard in
definitive
forever.
answer.
For those of you who don't know, Rook is an NPC who shows up at the very first episode. He's a half-orc who gets a little gruff and angry at one of the other NPCs, and he gets a revolver to the face in exchange for it. Is Rook dead? This has actually been a question that the entire party has asked me numerous times at this point, to the point that they forgot and stopped asking. And I can't answer because it would be spoilers.
Some may
as to
say
whether or not
bigger
Rook
fish
is
to
dead.
fry for us.
Typically
Oh.
speaking, a single gunshot in D&D will not kill you. He did, however, get shot in the face, so maybe he is dead. Maybe he isn't.
But he's a half orc, so he has relentless endurance.
He has relentless endurance, which
His
should keep him
skull is
alive.
probably like at least 3/4 of an inch thick.
Yeah. I will say, our running theory is that Harmon's gun is basically the equivalent of the cult in Supernatural. If you land it in a fatal spot, they die instantly. That's my running theory. I think Rook is so dead.
I should steal that gun.
Harmon's gun is special. They all know this already. I've told all of them, but I'll tell the audience now. Harmon's gun is special, and maybe you'll see how special it is soon.
I should steal that gun.
Hopefully he doesn't need it for a bunch of pickles.
Yeah,
oh my
right,
gosh,
God.
pickle.
Forgot about that.
Motherfucker
Forgot about
sold the
pickles.
cannons for pickles.
Why do you need cannons when you can have pickles?
Great with pickles. crates of pickles. It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, what even barrels?
Nope.
It's crates.
Crates and pickles.
Now,
Loose
Cryo,
pickles?
they're just really good pickles. Maybe they're like spicy pickles, a little garlic in there, a little.
The
It's
best
just
thing is I don't like pickles, so hard. Like I wouldn't even have those. I had an NPC actively purchase something that I think is disgusting.
Alright, well, Cryo, how do you usually build combat? Like, and how lethal is the combat typically?
Oh gosh. Okay, so building combat, I'm gonna say the very first combat I built, the Astronaut fight with a bunch of guards on the boat. I built it. I had stuff planned. I gave a few of the guards special items and everything, like they were gonna do different things and everything. And then they dropped Twink on the boat and he cast Thunderwave and threw them all into the ocean, and it was just right out the window, literally every single plan I had.
AG-130 inbound!
Oh my god, they dropped the gnome like a bomb in this boat.
You're welcome.
And ever since then, like I make the enemies, and I am now 50-50 for making combat maps or not making combat maps. So I kind of just pick some enemies, pull their stats up on another page, and just do random stuff as it seems to fit. I think I've only ever had 2 combats that I built that were in, because we use D&D Beyond, that were marked as like lethal for the party. One of them was the Atronon fight, because Atronon was considered an enemy. Spoilers for those of you who haven't watched the first episode. He's not. Good plot twist.
Yeah.
So that one was marked lethal because he was significantly stronger than the entire party. And then the next one that's been marked lethal is coming up. It's in 2 or 3 episodes, whether they're going to air.
The one...
Yeah, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
It's episode 9. Episode 9 is when the combat comes.
Yeah,
That's like a difficulty level of the fight.
Yes, so D&D Beyond measures
Cryo.
difficulty. 10? Oh, 10.
Episode 10.
Episode 10 then. Yeah, D&D Beyond measures difficulty in like a ramping way, and so it compares your party level and your health and everything. And as you put enemies on the board, it tells you how dangerous is this going to be. And once it gets to a certain point, it's like, this is lethal. This is probably going to kill one of your party members.
Do you let your party know?
No.
Mm-mm.
No, I don't.
Mm-mm.
To
Not
be
even
fair,
once.
only 2 of those combats have been marked as lethal, and there's been some close calls in ones that aren't marked lethal. So I don't think I have to. I think a good assumption in D&D is always assume you can die in a fight.
Yeah.
Like always play as if you might be able to die.
My campaign that we're doing right now has learned that the hard way. I think I might be me and one other person are the only original surviving members.
Oh my gosh.
Always have a second
Discussions in
character
argument.
ready.
Always have a
Right.
second character.
Exactly. Don't get too attached.
Mm-mm.
Especially not broad.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
too
before we
late.
go-
Like,
Before we go on to the next question, I just wanted to say there's one combat that we just did in our last session that was very
fuck.
a lot. It was a lot. I came up with it in the beginning of that session. I had not planned it at all. We were planning stuff out at like 20 minutes into the session. I was like, we're gonna do initiative. We've got time. Oh, how do we want to do this? And I just completely
For note,
made combat up on the
That
fly.
session is over 4 hours long.
It went a bit longer than I'd intended. I may have overscaled that particular combat.
It was
Well,
fun though.
To the DM for being able to come up with things like that on the fly. That's one thing I don't really understand how DMs do it. I've never been in that situation myself, like DMing and controlling what's happening. And just props to having a good DM who's just on top of stuff, who can make up this kind of stuff on the fly.
I won an improv award in high school. That's how I do it.
All right. So this is a question, I think, for Nimwick. Why do the birds wear masks? Or Ray, I should have said Ray. Why do the birds wear masks?
Is it a religious thing?
I'm pretty sure it was touched on in one of the episodes where Dola said it was for protection. But it will be touched on in future episodes.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
I
so
can't
we're
say
gonna
anything
find
now
out.
because it's a big thing.
Oh, it's a big thing. So this isn't like just an Aarakocra, everybody does it kind of thing?
Uh,
Or maybe
So
I should.
Aarakocras, they generally have, they're humanoid birds. Yeah. So they don't usually wear masks.
Okay, got it. That's one thing I was wondering is do Aarakocras usually wear masks? But no, this is a special situation, and we're going to find out coming up in the future.
It
One of
is
these.
why Sox's interest was spiked so quickly. He knew of Aarakocras, but he has never met one, much less one that wears a mask to cover their already bird-like face.
At one point, Lotus found another mask, like an Oni mask, in the campaign, and she tried to like switch it out and put it over her kind of bird face, but like it wouldn't work because it wasn't the right proportions, and I got a real kick out of that.
Yeah. So she actually, it may have been misconstrued. She tried to put that over her already worn mask. Like, it wasn't like she tried to switch them. She put a mask on the mask.
She's just layering them. She could have put it on the back of her head.
Yeah.
It's like one
Oh,
of those-
maybe
I
one
agree
day
with
she'll
Turtle.
switch to the Oni mask.
Yeah.
She still has it, I think.
Put it on the back
Could be
of
like
your
a
head.
Voldemort
Do it on
type
the-
of thing.
Oh my god. I was thinking
Waffle.
you could do like the mask on the side of the face like a lot
Yeah.
of characters do.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But alright. Let's
Who's
go
giving me
Voldemort.
So it does look like we had a viewer question from
Ooh.
Scarecrow. He did ask all of us, what's our favorite what are everyone's character's favorite food?
Oh.
I can tell you, Sox loves a good steak. The rawer, the better.
Obviously.
The rarer, the better.
The
Rar.
rawer.
Rar XD.
The rarer,
What a
the
nice
better.
bone.
I would think Twink definitely likes foods that are easier to eat. And
Like
easier to
jerky?
carry. Yep,
Like
like jerky.
Joke's on you,
I think
dog
he can
man.
conceal, or not conceal, but carry on his person because he doesn't eat very much. It could sustain him for multiple days. So finger foods, I would say.
I think Lotus really likes fruit. Granted, I think that's just a theme among all of my D&D characters is that they just really like fruit.
Well, birds do like fruit.
They do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Kieran's favorite is bread, cherry flavored.
Yeah, anything cherry flavored.
Okay, funny comment from chat. Well, finger foods are called hand foods for Twink, who is a gnome.
Okay, fair enough. Touche.
The best running joke is Twink can't see that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I think the best running joke currently is whenever anything tries to attack Twink, just because I get poor rolls against him, he's too short.
He's too short.
No one
They
accounts
just-
for how short he is.
They go right over him.
Dolus doesn't care for food because he usually gives it to Lotus, but he does like potatoes apparently.
Likes potatoes? Ooh. The DM will remember that.
Ooh.
My gosh.
All right.
Now, I have a question for Socrates, who is GlitchedStreams' character. How much has Socrates traveled? Like, after seeing Lagos, how many other students has he had?
So Sox was a professor for just about a century. And he spent a lot of his time in the Empire, but he also traveled a lot to study. He has been to Shadestep, which is one of the destinations we are heading toward. I believe he's also been to Yubua for a short amount of time, due to the fact that, you know, for a time he was traveling for other reasons. I don't believe he's ever been to Dragonlost, or at the very least, Cryo and I have not addressed it.
He has not.
Yeah. So he's been to a good amount of the major countries in Starlost. Yeah, he's been around. He's been around a lot. Yeah, do we have any other chat questions going on while Taylor panics?
One of them is what was everyone's character's first impression of each character?
Oh.
Oh no.
I thought you were all
Say
great.
that. I might lose friends.
Yeah, no, I know Twink fucking hated Socks off the bat.
I
First
don't
thing,
hate any of them. I just
First thing he said
think they
to
were
Socks
wizarding.
was say it with your chest is pretty much what he said.
Come on, speak up.
Yeah, Socks definitely thought Twink was intriguing to say the least. But he was also definitely a little bit intimidated by him just because Twink was so casual about the things that he was talking about. Like he seemed to not care despite the fact that he was just as wanted as everyone else. And then I think we know what the birds first thought of Socks and Twink.
Lotus, funny ears, must go touch.
Archibald thought you were all crazy, and he was right.
Yep, ever since we've only proven that more.
What's your favorite D&D stat? Dexterity.
Dexterity.
Dexterity is where it's at.
Dex is everything in D&D.
Oh no, I'm a big fan of charisma.
Yeah, is your character who is barely above average charisma?
And yet uses
okay, first
it.
off, I never said that was what my character was the best at. You just asked
Taylor,
what my
make sure you
favorite
mute
D&D
OBS
stat is.
Ninja. There you go. You're good.
Hey,
She's back. We got her.
I'm back. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry for
There
the
we
hiccup.
go.
Yeah. So for clarification, we were asked what was everyone's first impression of each other, and we went through everybody. And then the one we need to address is that Lotus and Dolus originally thought Twink were father and son.
That's what's right.
Dolus
A man
thought
and his
Lotus
child.
And that was never
thinking
clarified.
funny.
It took
It's been like 8 sessions now, and that's never been clarified to her.
session 7. We actually finally clarified to Lotus that they are not related.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if it's
Now-
ever been clarified to Dolus though.
No.
Maybe he just figured it out.
Someone should do that. Now, are all of you guys friends from before D&D, or are any of you just meeting?
So the 4 of us here, we've all known each other for at least a year now.
To be fair, I actually met Ray through D&D, so
Yeah.
for Ray, it was kind of like that's how we met.
We met like
Yeah.
half a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have,
So
we
we
have
do
another
have-
campaign that Ian DMs,
Mhm.
and he, on the recommendation of his party, who's like Steph of Anime, who was here earlier, and Pulse, and then me and Noah. It wasn't me. They recommended me and Ray to be 2 new people added to the party, and Ian and I knew each other, but he didn't know Ray, so he pulled us both in, and we got attached on, and now they talk constantly. Now they're inseparable.
What about Dolus, who's K-Meister, and Kieran?
So Oz was definitely the odd duck out. I think everyone but Ray and Kay really were just meeting Kieran for the first time, or just meeting Oz for the first time when that session started. We had chatted for a little bit. It had been about 2 weeks, but for the most part, other than Ray and Kay, we were mostly unfamiliar with Oz. But other than that, other than Ian and Ray, and almost all of us to Oz, we've known each other for 3-4 years now.
All right. You see, when I meet new people and like in a role play situation, I have a really hard time coming out of my shell. I don't know why. Just meeting new people and interacting like that is always a little bit hard. So props to you guys.
Well, I think it's hard. I think that's hard though, because like they can't distinguish whether that's you or not.
Yeah.
Right? When you're role playing, and it's hard to make that distinction because they don't know you. And I think that's something that you think about when you're trying to role play with people you haven't met before.
Yeah, that makes sense. You might just get the complete wrong impression.
Yeah.
I will say, because I see in chat here, someone said they're brand new, and how do you go about finding a group? And I think that's good on this question. If you find friends who are also interested in D&D, even if none of you have ever played it before, like all of the rules are online. You can watch a few sessions for people. You could watch Starlost. There's Critical Role and everything. Watch some D&D, get some friends together, and just play D&D. There's no wrong way to do it. The rules are all there to just give you a guide. So if you guys just want to play, just play.
Yeah.
And if you want to find a group of people who are more experienced, ask some of your friends if they play D&D. Ask if they're looking for someone else. ask
What
if
if
they
you don't have any friends
if
who
you
play
have
D&D?
friends who play D&D.
Yeah, where do you go to find a party?
Jump into a Discord, just talk. Like, it's really easy, especially like in servers like mine and Keith Montalbo's. We both have a chat for D&D, and we kind of try to facilitate it, and it's really nice because you find a lot of people who are more interested. And like in the case of us, my session with Ian was my first D&D campaign, and so was like before Ray and Cryo joined. Other than Pulse, who only had like cursory experience with one-shots and stuff, none of us had ever played before. So that was the main thing, was just finding a little group, making sure at least one person really knows the rules, and then they can kind of help facilitate you into it. And then you do something like this to where you put that in front of everybody.
I was a forever DM.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I got my first time playing with Ian's campaign, and I love it so much. Thank you, Ian.
And only people like you.
That's fair. Someone's got to do it. I love DMing. Don't get me wrong. DMing's really fun.
All right.
Why did you decide to stream the Starlost campaign?
Why did we decide to record it? So that was all on me. That was all my fault. Is the easiest way to put it. I came to all of my friends and I was like, hey, I love doing D&D. It's been super fun. I know we're not super comfortable streaming our home game or, recording our home game. So what if we started a whole new one? And within 3 days, I had bothered them all so much that they just went, okay, fine.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I said, how do you guys feel about it? Has it been fun so far?
Oh my god.
Oh,
I am
so
having
much
such a big
fun.
blast playing Lotus.
I'm gonna need to start drinking more with how many things are going on in Starlost.
Whoa!
And that's not a bad thing. I mean, like, my brain 24/7 is coming up with different theories about how the fuck everything happened, because that's what Socks has to do, which means I have to think about it.
Right.
I love how much people have responded. Taylor, I'm gonna out you here. You're definitely like one of our biggest fans, and it's so fun seeing your reactions to it. Like, I love sitting and watching the premieres, and the premieres aren't usually like crazy. I think the most we've ever had watching a premiere at once was like 15 people.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's good. Don't get me wrong. No offense to those 15 people. You're all doing amazing. But like, it's so fun just seeing that like group of people watching and interacting and responding to everything. And that's also, as the DM, that's mostly what I get to do with the players. Like, I love watching them play and I love watching them get into it and get excited about everything. It just fills me with such satisfaction.
Yeah, that can make all the difference sometimes, is knowing that people are enjoying what you make.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That has been one of my biggest things. Everybody works so hard to bring a fantastic show along. Like Cryo, planning every week. I work my best on the layouts. Ray doing the fantastic art that is in all of the players things, and then just a ton on top of that. Everybody does so much to create a fantastic product, and just with that, I've said it recently, and I'll say it a lot more. I would sell my soul to make this project succeed, because everybody has done such a fantastic job, which is why I buy rights to music and then fight with Spotify to make sure that the links go right, because it's a fantastic time, and these guys deserve recognition, if not just for being great players, just for being great people. This series has been nothing but a joy.
Oh.
Well, right on. I like that answer.
I'm going
Streaming's
to cry.
fun. Oh, no, don't cry. Quick, let's move on to the next question. Don't
Okay.
tell me. Why is it called Starlost Seas?
So we have an answer for that now.
We're on the, well, number one, we're on the ocean, so seas.
Yes.
Ta-da. We
Mhm.
so, and that's easy. The planet is called Starlost, so Starlost, it's kind of a
SS.
play on that. Yeah, it's Starlost with 2 S's and Starlost Seas. The actual reason is a story thing, which we just found out in the episode, in the ones we're playing, that'll be coming out in the next like month and a half. So you all get to actually find that out.
Ooh.
I think by this time next
next month should be.
Yeah,
well,
should be when you guys. Well, maybe a little
maybe
after that.
2.
Maybe like 5 or 6 weeks. You'll get to know why it's called Starlost. And let me just tell you, I think the entire party. I think they all died. I think they all just went a little crazy when it finally was a thing of what Starlost really means.
Oh, I see. Well, since they're all dead, does that mean it's over?
No,
yes,
no.
yes, yeah. We
No,
all
I think
died.
I think the players died. I think that's what happened. I'm pretty sure I left them on a bit of a cliffhanger, and the resolution I think was even worse than the cliffhanger. They were all
Yeah.
Ooh, well, I'm excited. Oh, I can't wait till that episode. That'll be a lot of fun. We were talking a little bit in the last question about other campaigns, but how many other campaigns do you all play?
Ray.
This is a question for Ray. This is a question to Judge
Ray.
Ray. Ian's got 3. Noah and I just have Ian's campaign. Ray,
Wow,
would you like to
Ian?
out yourself as?
So at one point in time, I was playing 4 a week.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
And
So
like
different ones, these are different campaigns.
D&D has just consumed my life in the past year. So,
Oh, nice. I'm a little
Yeah,
jealous.
that was really something to hear Ray, because like for clarification, we are taking a 2-week break from playing because we have very busy lives starting to kick up.
I got a
So-
good job.
So yeah, we were like trying to plan around, and the amount of times that we went, Ray, how about this day? And she went, nah, I got D&D that day. It's just, we're like, okay, what day don't you have D&D? We have to invent a new day, apparently.
No, that's impressive. 4 different campaigns you're juggling, all the storylines, all the characters, all the things you have to remember. You must have a really nice like note-taking.
Oh,
You just
she
post-
Ray takes the best
My-
notes.
she's the
I
only
use
one that
Ray's
takes notes.
I use her notes as the DM. Like I'll throw them up in another window just so I can be like, all right, what happened last session?
Oh my God, that's awesome. So I
That's
use
true.
Post-it
Kay takes
notes.
notes, but physically.
I post Post-it notes all over like my desk, which it works for like 1 session, maybe 2 sessions, but like 8 sessions later, you just start to not even know what's going on, and then you spill water all over the Post-it notes, and you can't even read the Post-it notes. So please don't use Post-it notes in the future.
Cryo
Use a
hates
notebook
me as a
or Google
player.
Doc.
My notes page is like this long.
It's a paragraph.
It's basically a paragraph because I
hey, if
edit
you
the session,
remember.
so it's so fresh on my mind all the time.
That's because he's thinking about it constantly.
Yeah, it's
Just
taking
all the
over my
time.
mind.
My notes page is just a list of items that Twinks identified.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And how much jerky you have left.
to put it in perspective, my Lotus campaign, like Starlost Seas, is 25 pages right now.
And
In,
we just
like
finished our
Arial
16th session.
times
session.
11 font.
Yeah.
Oh, that is great. Well, Cryo's lucky that you take such great notes because that just makes his job a little bit easier.
I really am.
I just tell him after,
Especially-
he's like, what about this? And I'll just say an answer. Like an
It's
idiot.
especially important because my Sunday campaign for Ian, I play like this very stoic, very serious character, which is a super huge contrast to Lotus, who's like super hyper, super happy. It's
Yes.
like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Right. You ever mix up your characters on accident, Ray?
I absolutely have done that before.
I have 100% done that. Socks, my very passive, very anxious character, once got mixed up a little bit with one of my character in the Sunday session, Monty, who is a brash, loud, rude rogue. To the point where I actually tried to bonus action disengage with a sorcerer who I
Doesn't
can't.
have that.
Nice.
So
Can't
he got
do that.
opportunity attacked.
Oh, I can't wait till that one.
Oh.
It's funny. It's so funny.
And Noah or Socrates, I will say, I also didn't know you couldn't cast a spell non-lethally. I didn't know that. So in the
I
last
did.
session, when you were like, no, don't kill him, and then you
I did. I
cast
just didn't think it'd kill him.
kill him. I laughed so hard. That was so funny.
Don't kill him, he says as he kills him.
He didn't die. He didn't die. More happened.
Hey, you know what? You're lucky more happened, but that would have been perfect if he actually did die.
Would have been really
Oh,
funny.
that was the best. Oh my
Just
gosh.
be careful, don't kill him. Lands a crit on the spell and kills him.
I think my favorite thing is that Socks had a sword that he did not use once in that fight.
Oh. See, I didn't even know you had a sword. That's how little you use it.
Lorelei gave it to you. She was so nice to give you one of her swords.
I think he was terrified to break it. I think it's
yeah.
really what
I
it
think
was.
Lorelei would have shot him dead.
True.
Yeah.
Well, you guys do such a good job juggling all your campaigns and characters. Would you end up playing a game with people from Critical Role or Dimension 20?
Oh my!
Oh my god!
This
I
was
couldn't
die.
even imagine that.
oh
Like,
my god!
How cool would that be?
I'd just be sitting in a corner watching. Like, there's no way
Yeah.
I'd be able to keep up.
yeah.
No way.
I try my very best.
If somehow this ever gets to the people at Critical Role, I want you to know you've made my life so amazing, and please play D&D with us. That would be awesome.
I listen to Critical Role like on the treadmill or I'm exercising. I get tired of music really fast, so I listen to Critical Role and like you guys and other campaigns. But I am really far into the first Critical Role campaign. And I haven't even touched the second one. There's just so much content, and it's coming out so quickly. Like, how do you really keep up with it? I don't know.
Well, if you're Ray, you watch it at 1.5 times speed over the course of 8 months.
I don't watch it at
Like a
1.5
freak.
speed. I started the second campaign in December, and I'm currently on 106, 107 of the Mighty Nine.
Nice.
So,
She's insane.
Yeah. I basically spend 2.5 hours a day commuting, so that's where I catch mine up.
Oh, perfect.
I was caught up until episode 100 of campaign 2, and then they went on a hiatus, and I went on a hiatus, and then COVID happened, and I never got caught up again. I still haven't seen anything.
I have so much cursory knowledge. I've read a lot more than I've watched of Critical Role, just because as an editor, I can't put anything on in the background. I have audio going all the time. I can't have like cross streams like that. So, so a lot of my knowledge is based in clips and moments that Cryo wants to show me, to where I almost have a full scope of the campaign at this point, just because Cryo's showed me so much. But yeah, it's been that would just be something to where it's like, it's so unfathomable, especially like we have a nice little cult following. If it got big enough to where anybody at Geek and Sundry reached out to us and was like, hey, we need Starlost for a sec, that's it. I'm done. I retire. I'm good. Like,
You probably just die right there with that cliffhanger.
For sure.
Yeah, I think we can just generally say that, yes, we would all play a game with people from Critical Role or Dimension 20. Absolutely. And if another campaign starts, they have like campaign 3, I'm going to watch from the beginning, because that is the only way I'm going to keep up.
Yeah, yeah.
We're absolutely doing watch parties.
Discipline.
Without a doubt.
Well,
I think we got time for one or two more.
Oh, really? I could move quickly and do way more.
Okay, let's just...
Okay.
It's speed run time. Speed question.
How long until Cryo kills one of your characters? Go.
He almost did in the most recent session.
First off, Cryo didn't do that. It was the player's fault, and we'll leave it at that.
Fuck you! I got hit with a crit.
Okay, now we all know it's Noah. I wasn't gonna say names, but we all know.
I let the dice decide. I don't plan on killing anybody, so we'll see.
Whatever you say, DM.
He's so
DM,
squishy.
Okay.
As the DM, when have you fudged roles for the story?
Oh, so in the third episode is the first time it ever happened. It's only happened like 2 or 3 times since then. I rolled to make things attack things. Like I just let it be sort of random because I couldn't think of methodology at the time. Socks definitely would have been murdered by the sea serpents if I hadn't fudged some rolls. But it was episode 3, and I didn't feel like killing Noah's character on episode 3, so I fudged a roll and had it attack Kieran instead.
And then he thanked you by just not even letting it leave.
He told me this yesterday.
I told him this yesterday because I saw the question and I was like, oh, now I gotta tell you.
Yeah, and ever since then, he has had a pure methodology for every attack because he was just like, random dice will get somebody killed.
Oh, that's a good idea. Now, Ian or Twink, is Twink really just that crazy, or does he have secret plans?
He's not out to plan anything ever. He just kind of rides the wind. It's real weird because Twink's like this guy who all these other characters have these things they're trying to do, and he's just there. So it seems like he would be that secret plan type. There's nothing going on up there. He's just kind of going along for the ride.
He's our everyman, and we love him for it.
He's the best.
Thanks, great. Who do you guys think would win a battle royale in the party?
Lotus.
Be
Lotus.
honest. Yeah.
Lotus KOs everyone.
19 AC, flurry of
doubt in
blows,
my
like
mind.
it's just dead.
Plucks
Gone.
bullets out of the air.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind.
What could we do? I could mind sliver, maybe.
Yeah, we could
and
all
take out,
magic missile her, like
Yeah.
at the same time, like if we all gang up on her, maybe. But
yeah,
Catch
Well,
those
that-
missiles.
no,
not all of them.
Now, this campaign happens, you're on the seas, you're traveling from place to place. What's the location you're most excited to get to on the seas?
I think we all really look forward to Yubua.
yeah, for sure.
It's in you.
I got a piece of paper in one of the sessions. I think it was like 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be real important in
It's
Ubua, so I
a
can't wait to find out what
deed
it
to
is.
something in Yubua, so he's very excited to
And-
find out what it is.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that was every player's or every character's original destination. We've just gotten sidetracked a lot since then.
True.
Oh, that's right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yubua
Going to
is like
Yubua.
a New Zealand style island. It's really nice and pretty, lots of green and snow and this and that and blah blah. It's also like the only nice country out there that doesn't ever go to war with anyone or have any problems.
Is that where all the unreliables are trying to go?
Pretty much, most of them are all going to Yubua, except some that are going off to the Dragon Lost Archipelago because it's really chill there. It's like the South Pacific there. So I mean, if you're down for a little rough and tumble, everyone's going to those two places.
And so unreliables are being persecuted right now.
Mm-hmm.
How prevalent is this dislike of magical beings in the general population?
Okay. In the Empire, it's not like a dislike so much as it is this weird distrust. And I mean, like it's a law. And it was put into place to try and keep things under control after the events of the first campaign, because there was a lot of crazy stuff that happened, which again will be talked about in later episodes of Starlost. But all in all, around the world, like half of the world either doesn't care or disagrees. Like they don't care about unreliables, or they disagree with the Empire, because they always disagree with the Empire. But the whole political situation is something that we actually may or may not get into in Shadestep if we eventually get there.
Ooh.
So that's very exciting. I know
So
Twink,
this is something-
Twink loves politics.
So this is something pushed by the king and the council, and not
Yes.
necessarily like the desires of the population.
Yeah, so Stonekeeper is run by an emperor and an empress at the same time. One is a dwarf and one is a human, and then they have a council. And so they make all the decisions, and the emperor and the empress get like veto power and extra seats on the council and that kind of thing. And so the council is the one who pushed it through, mainly to just keep things under. They're saving face basically by blaming unreliables. So
Okay, because wasn't it oh, is that the outro music?
no,
No,
we got a
no.
follower.
Yep.
Oh, yay! The story of how unreliables came to be looked down upon like this, wasn't it something to do with a party of adventurers awakening some kind of
Yes.
horrible thing?
The last party awakened an ancient evil to help beat their big bad evil guy. They used some forbidden magic that they weren't supposed to. And that's something that happened in the last campaign, actually. They used this forbidden magic that I kind of teased in front of them for a while, and it had repercussions that now the rest of this party
Yeah.
gets to deal with. Yay, I'm
I
sorry.
feel real bad about that.
But
They
I do
should-
think we are out of time.
Oh,
Yeah.
we did it. I think that was
So-
all the questions.
Guys, as we said before, you can find Starlost Seas on YouTube. You can just search it, Starlost Seas, or you can go over to my channel, GlitchedStreams, or if you're chilling in the Twitch chat right now, you can just do ! Starlost. The series is a whole lot of fun. As you can see, there's a whole lot going on, despite the fact that it's only episode 7, and it only gets crazier.
There's
Oh,
time
Pulse.
travel.
there's time travel. There's time travel already. So I hope you guys enjoy the series so much. Make sure you can check it out on Spotify or any of your favorite podcasting platforms, YouTube. And thank you so much for joining me. We have to move on to our next segment in the Love for All stream. I love you guys so much, and we will see you all in the next session and hopefully the next review session.
Starlost Seas is awesome. Go watch it on YouTube.
Yep. Goodbye, everybody.